Well, it's going to break past this area right here. Looks pretty promising. Typically, I would not take a trade directly into a support area, but it really gave us a deep pullback. And then all this right here with a weak retracement to the upside says that we're looking for a more extended target. The MACDs were still rolling down pretty deeply on the 1597. Here's my first area of concern as we are reaching this previous pivot point. But the MACDs are showing still a lot of strength to the downside on the 1597. I just got to really pay attention at this point. I'd like to see it continue to push through here. All right, I'm going to take an exit with a very small profit. It's having a decent pushback on the 610. 1597 is still showing some strength to the downside, but it is hitting that first area. So what I really liked is that the 1597 and the 610 were really starting to spread apart, which says that we're starting to have some strength to the downside again after it pinched together here. If this does take off from here, I'm going to stop to break even 2 ticks behind this bar. Oh, something else I want to do really quick before I do that is go ahead and remove these so they don't get in my way of my decisions. There we go. Here's the next area of support that's been holding. As it breaks past here, I'm going to move my stop. There we go. I'd really like to see it close past there. Still sitting right at that area. These closes at the bottom are really promising. Strength in the MACDs to the downside looks good. I mean, it's not going to show the strength like you see back here because it stays in proportionate with it. So I would move it back here sometimes to look at the real strength to the downside. It's just hanging out here. Let me go ahead and take my exit, wait for the next trade setup. But let's give it just 1 second. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take an exit. Oh, maybe not. Nope. And there you go. Couldn't even hit that exit. 2. So we'll just go 2 ticks behind there and let it run. You see, I was looking at these closes right there. And I wasn't waiting for the close of the bar, which I need to wait for getting closer to the close of that bar. So even though I was going to take my exit, I didn't hit it. And I'm watching this next area as we pull up here. Actually, I want to be a couple ticks above that. So not a super strong retracement with that close back to the upside. Pushes back down. I'm going to be 2 ticks behind this area. These bars are starting to look a little bit like I'm ready for an exit. So I'll take it at 2 points. If it keeps going, it's going to go without me. And let's look at where it had that target, just in case it goes all the way down there. I like to watch that target still, which is, because if I get back into a trade, that will be the area where I'll be looking for my target. Now, why did I get out? Okay. So what happened here with this little bar, right? It doesn't seem like much, but the MACDs are starting to head up. You have a close at this bottom here. So it's just more comfortable for me. You know, it's probably going to pull back into this area and continue down, and we'll watch it if it does. So I think I took 225 off of that one. Today's the 6th. Oh. Oh, no, just 2 points. It'll go down and it'll hit my target. But I'm good with my exit. It had a pretty decent pullback. It still had a lot of space to go from here. So it's going to be pulling back at some point in time. And I'm happy with 2 points. So it did go as far as, oh, just an extra point. It went down 3 points. Here we go. All right, so one of my weaknesses as a trader is early anticipation. I actually really sat down, guys, right about, here's my horizontal line. I think I sat down right here. So I said, well, you know, it's going to continue down, you know, and I had been looking at a support area right in here that had been holding. It still had signs of continuing to the downside, a lot of strength right here. Pull back, your EMA is beginning to open up. And so when it pulled back at this point, I was comfortable taking that exit. And you see, it didn't really go much further. So like I said, one of my weaknesses is early anticipation. I know I could really tell, and I actually almost got out here, recall. So as it pulled back, I was pulling down to that area, but I wanted to wait. And I really probably could have waited just a little bit longer on this exit. But like I said, I see a lot of distance here. I see that it's looking to pull back. This little bar right here that kind of closes at the bottom, it has a longer stem towards the top, and then this bar started really trying to push up while everything was slowing down. Everything has to work together, guys. I want to be on the proper side of areas. When I say proper side of areas, that means I want to be below the 610 zero line and the 1597 zero line if I'm looking to take short trades. Does that mean every time it's going to happen? No. Had I been sitting down at this point, I guarantee you I would have gotten in a short much earlier because of the divergence here on the 1597. I'm sorry, on the 610, right as you're reaching those areas on the 1597. So it was just a little overrun of the area. So yeah, I would have definitely been looking for a short previously. That's a trade that I love. Whenever the EMAs are staying in line, which means the blue below the purple or the 610 below the 1597, when I see divergence at that area. So it pretty much equaled here, and MACD's leading lower. It tells me that's a really good area to take the short trade. And then it pulled back. I took 2 points out of it. So I have a lot going on today, which I do every day, really. Maybe I should write something about how to trade distracted, or how to, because you got to think about this. You may, when you're overly focused, you're going to see things that aren't there. So sitting back and seeing the whole picture instead of just zoning in on one little bar, which, you know, I do zone in on bars, but that's because after the big picture has happened, looking for that can, you know, there's always going to be a pullback. So what I want to say to myself is, do I have the tolerance to wait for a pullback all the way back up here? And so that would have been about another point down. So that would have had me up about a point. And, you know, if I had kept my stop 2 ticks behind this area, then yeah, the pullback. But at that time, I probably would have moved my stop 2 ticks behind here once it pushed down. So I would have still gotten stopped out right about this area. So, and knowing what kind of trader I am, you know, and this pullback here, sure, it's absolutely an area that you can continue taking trades. You've had a little bit of a decent pushback in the 610. The MACDs on the 1597 have had no reaction to this pullback, but yeah, right now it's kind of stuck between areas that have this line here, because in the past we've had areas that held there, and it's been a while, obviously, but yeah, back here it was back in this area. So we did have areas that held there previously. You know, this has been, you had a pretty decent market to the upside prior. You've got a pretty decent market to the downside. The good thing with E-mini futures is we make money whether the market's going up or down. So you just have to be in the proper direction, right? Yep. Well, I mean, if you're looking for a short trade, this is definitely the area for it. I just don't see a lot of confirmation in my, you know, you've got a little bit of strength in the MACDs to the upside. Basically what I'm saying is I would miss this trade. A lot of other traders would take it. Obviously they are, because you can see that the market is pushing down, but it's not something that I want to take right now. It may go down and hit my previous area, and I say may, could, possibly, because, you know, the market does whatever it wants to do. We don't make it do anything. We just follow along with it and read it as best as we can. So I just want to see if this goes down and hits my area. Man, this is just super flat. There's no upward movement. There's no downward movement. You had a pretty decent push up in the MACDs, even though you've got a lot of distance, and your EMAs are smoking to the downside, right? They are spreading wide apart and really angling down. So this, you know, like I said, could continue down, and just, it's not one that I'm going to be in. Gonna pause it and let it go, and we'll see in just a moment. Well, I only paused it for a moment. I was actually just thinking, I had this lesson with somebody earlier about looking at where the price bars close and seeing the way that the MACDs react in at the same time. So when you have a lot of price bars closing towards the bottom, towards the middle and towards the bottom, and you've got a lot of strength in your MACDs to the downside, that is a strong confirmation that it's going in that direction. Like here, close up, it does pull back, but when it pulls back, the MACDs are still spreading to the upside, and all these closes to the upside means that the MACDs, the price, they're agreeing, right? Now, you've had a pretty hard push down in the price so far, and this is all the reaction that has happened in the MACDs. You actually have some what I call retracement divergence on the 610 where the price is pulled back over 50% of this move to the upside, but the MACD is pulled back like 10%. So that says, this doesn't say that it's turning the market around. It just says it's not going to continue down from right here, right now. And, maybe it's just the way that I've seen this happen before, which made me say, no, I'm not going to take the short trade here. It's been years of experience in looking at it. So when I start to see these MACDs really smoking to the upside, it doesn't say that it's not going to work, but whenever it starts to push down and, had I been in a trade here, I probably would have been stressing it about right here. And that's the best way that I can put it. I'd have been stressing a little bit going, oh God, what's it going to do from here? Because it's not going to continue down, and I would know. So then I would have to make a quick exit. Yeah, so you can see the way that the MACDs reacted right here on the 610 is the way they're reacting right now on the 1597. And what happened? It pushed back up higher. So what I'm noticing is, after, I guess I started this a minute or two after I started the trade. But after 18 minutes, I'm kind of bored with the market today. I got 2 points with 4 contracts. I got 2 points with 2 contracts. So that would be 4 points going on there, which is just, quick little $200, and it's pretty much done for the day. I may come back to it later. Probably not. I got a lot going on today. But there's the turnaround. So like I said, in my opinion, I had a little bit early anticipation of the exit. I really could have waited just a little bit longer. But in all reality, it could have just turned around and bounced back up from this point. So, watching the signs as I was watching these bars as it's pushing down and the MACDs just aren't agreeing after this strong move to the downside. And it's got to stop at some time, right? And pull back. So you haven't had a very strong retracement back up in the MACDs. You could possibly be looking for a short here. I'm not, just because I don't want to. So I'm just going to go ahead and shut it down for the day and take care of all the things I'm going to take care of. So hope y'all have a lovely day.